أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تالله لقد أرسلنا إلى أمم من قبلك فزين لهم الشيطان أعمالهم فهو وليهم اليوم ولهم عذاب أليم. وما أنزلنا عليك الكتاب إلا لتبين لهم الذي اختلفوا فيه وهدى ورحمة لقوم يؤمنون. والله أنزل من السماء ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يسمعون. وإن لكم في الأنعام لعبرة نسقيكم مما في بطونه من بين فرث ودم لبنا خالصا سائغا للشاربين. ثمرات النخيل والأعناب تتخذون منه سكرا ورزقا حسنا إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يعقلون. صدق الله العظيم.
Good morning, everyone, and Assalamu alaikum. A very good morning to all of you, to all our distinguished guests, partners, and colleagues. I would also like to welcome our Mayor, as well as the Director General Imad Mohammed from the Ministry of Finance and Planning, along with everyone here on the stage. On behalf of Male City Council, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Stakeholder Consultation Workshop for the preparation of the Voluntary Local Review, which is VLR. As we all gather here today, It is important to recognize the vital role each one of you stakeholders play in the success of our city. Today, we aim to deepen our understanding of the key issues, share valuable insights, and brainstorm ideas to solve the key issues on the island. Our agenda today is packed with informative sessions, engaging activities, and opportunities for open dialogue. We have invited an incredible team of stakeholders under the theme Leave No One Behind. And together, we are going to aid in formulating the first voluntary local review of ChaaluMale'City. This VLR is being prepared by ChaaluMale'City Council with technical support from UNESCO, the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and Pacific, and ICLEI, the Local Government for Sustainability, South Asia. I would also like to highlight the role of the Ministry of Planning and Finance that has played in ensuring that we are on the right path. The agenda for today started with recitation of Quran by Zainab bint Muhammad, a grade 9 student from Kalafan School. This will be followed by the mayor's welcoming speech and an opening remark by the Ministry of Finance and Planning. Finally, the opening ceremony will end with a virtual presentation from UNESCO by Sara Libera Zanetti. The opening session will conclude with a group of photos. So guys, don't forget to smile for the click, and let's all get started with today's session. I would like to invite Mayor for your remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Minister of Finance and Planning, Director General of National Planning, Mr. Muhammad Imad, respected partners from UNESCO and ICLEI, Local Government for Sustainability, South Asia, esteemed councillors, dedicated staff, members of ChaaluMale'City Council, and respected guests. Assalamu alaikum. It is with great respect and sincere appreciation that I welcome every one of you to this gathering, both in person and virtually. On behalf of the ChaaluMale'City Council, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this stakeholder consultation workshop for the preparation of the Voluntary Local Review, VLR. Today marks a historic moment for Malé and for the Maldives as we gather to develop our first ever Voluntary Local Review, VLR. And this is the very first local review for this region as well. We are not just fulfilling a global commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, we are embracing a transformative roadmap for our city's future. ChaaluMale'City Council is preparing this voluntary local review with technical support from UNESCO and ICLEI. Thank you to our ICLEI South Asia team for leading today's workshop, to UNESCO experts, Ministry of Finance and Planning, to all ChaaluMale'City Council departments, community leaders, and technical specialists from whom we have laid the groundwork. The success of our voluntary local review depends on the active participation and collaboration of all stakeholders, including government agencies, civil society, academia, the private sector, and the community representatives. With over 200,000 residents on just 8 kilometers, Malé faces unique challenges in housing, waste management, and basic services. As a low-lying island, we are the front line of sea level rise, extreme heat, and coastal flooding. A voluntary local review translates the Sustainable Development Goals into local actions, demonstrating how Malé contributes to the 2030 agenda. Malay make up most of the nation's population, which is 41%, given that the Maldives economy and social well-being are inseparably linked to its natural environment, particularly its marine environment and resources. The sustainable management of these resources has been a key priority of the government. Sustainable development goals are not abstract ideals, they are a practical blueprint for resilient equity and prosperity. For Malay, this means SDG 11, rethink urban density and green spaces, SDG 13, fortify our climate defenses, SDG 8, create jobs in a post-pandemic economy, and above all, SDG 17, the power of partnership. City faces tremendous challenges, which we seek to tackle with a collaborative effort. Some of them are aging infrastructure, drainage and overcapacity sewage system cause flooding with rain, posing safety risks, lack of public transport and traffic management, increases congestion, need to increase pedestrian zones, limited affordable housing and tenant security, insufficient green recreational areas and heritage protection. We need scale park renovation and tree planting. Circular waste management is in emerging stage. Plastic reduction and reef conservation campaigns require wider adoptions. In City, we throw away 30 tons of waste daily on the road. Harmonious policy. To my fellow leaders in government, our task is clear. Our voluntary local review will expose gaps in our progress, but it will also reveal opportunities for innovation. We must harmonize policies, align city budget, infrastructure projects, and sectoral plans with the SDGs, leverage data, use real-time metrics to track progress because what gets measured gets done. Break silos. The SDGs demand that education, health, transport, and environment ministries work as one. Today, we need more than your presence. We need your leadership. Bring your department's data, but also your boldest ideas. Challenge us with policy roadblocks you foresee. Commit with us to one concrete action. This VLR will also succeed if every ministry leaves here with ownership of its own goals. Let us remember, SDGs are not a burden but a strategic advantage. In the city of Penang in Malaysia, the city used its VLR to secure funding for green infrastructure to transform its waterfront slums. Colombo's VLR helped Sri Lanka access climate-resilient grants from the ADB. Malay, with our unique island challenges and innovations, can leverage this process even more powerfully. When the world sees a small island city rigorously tracking its SDGs, they see a trustworthy partner for investing in cooperation. Together, we transform this VLR into a powerful catalyst for action. The time for incremental change has passed. Today marks the beginning of bold, systematic transformation. As we stand on the brink of a new era, it is clear that incremental changes are no longer sufficient. The challenges we face demand bold, systematic transformations. This VLR is not just a document, it is a call to action, a blueprint for future where our collective efforts lead to meaningful and lasting impact. Let us seize this movement with determination and vision. Let us commit to the hard work ahead, knowing that our actions today will shape the world of tomorrow. Together, we have the power to drive progress, to innovate, and to create a legacy of positive change. Thank you for your dedication, your passion, and your unwavering commitment to this cause. The journey ahead will not be easy, but with our combined strength and resolve, we will achieve greatness. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next up is opening remarks by the Ministry of Finance and Planning, Director General Imad Mohammed.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Mayor, distinguished participants, a very good morning to all of you. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this important stakeholder engagement workshop. And today marks a very significant milestone in our collective journey towards sustainable development in the Maldives. As we gather here today, we are marking on the preparation of the very first voluntary local review report for Male City. This initiative is a testament to our commitment to transparency, accountability, and inclusive development. The VLR will serve as a crucial tool in assessing our progress towards sustainable development goals at the local level, ensuring that no one is left behind. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Male City Council for their unwavering dedication and collaboration in this endeavor. Your leadership and vision are instrumental in driving this initiative forward. We are also deeply appreciative of the technical assistance provided by the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, UNESCAP, and the technical expertise offered by ICLE, South Asia. Your support has been invaluable in guiding us through this complex process. Our ministry has prepared and published our second voluntary national review, VNR report in 2023. This VLR process will be instrumental in the preparation of successive VNR reports, providing valuable insights and into the implementation status and challenges of SDGs in the Maldives. Today's workshop is unique opportunity for us to engage with all the stakeholders, share insights, and gather valuable feedback. Your participation and contributions are essential in shaping a comprehensive and inclusive VLR report. As we move forward, let us remain committed to our shared goals of sustainable development. Together, we can create a resilient, inclusive, and prosperous future for Male City and the Maldives as a whole. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to a productive, engaging workshop.
Thank you, Director General Imad Mohammed. Finally, I would like to invite from UNESCAP, Sara Libera Zanetti for the virtual presentation.
Hello. Can I share my screen? Let me share the screen and see if... Are you able to see my screen?
We are able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. In full screen mode, is that correct?
Not yet.
No, you can make it in presentation mode, Sarah.
Okay, is that
Oh,
now?
no, perfect.
Okay, great. So I can't see myself, so please tell me when I'm going over time. Thank you very much for having us today, and thank you for having me on behalf of ESCAP. We can see it's a really full room, so that's really great. So I'll keep this brief, also because I think the beauty of these of today's meeting will be like to hear from you how you can contribute to the localization of the 2030 agenda, and of course to this voluntary local review process. And with my presentation, I'll take a step back, because also in the opening remarks you heard a lot about the intention with the voluntary local reviews, etc. But just to be, I just want to be mindful that not everyone is always aware, of what the concept of sustainable development, what is it and what is the 2030 agenda. So I'm taking you a step back just briefly. So I had this slide here. I'm not going to dig into it, but just for you to understand that the concept of sustainable development, it's not new. While there have been, throughout the years, some key milestones, like, in year 2000, the adoption of the Millennium Development Goals, and in 2015, the adoption of the Sustainable Development Goals. Nevertheless, practitioners within academia and beyond, they have been discussing for decades, from the 70s, whether the way we were progressing, the way we were looking at progress, was was the right one, as to say. So we can think of the concept of sustainable development and its evolution as a sort of, as a tale of changing perspectives and priorities, particularly with a big focus on the environmental dimension of sustainable development, but also trying to strike a balance between economic growth, environmental protection, and social equity. And I'm saying that because this is really important to keep in mind once you, contribute also to the local process like the VLR. So the 2030 Agenda was adopted in 2015. It comprises of 17 goals, the so-called Sustainable Development Goals, and there are also 169 targets. And we can think of the targets as sort of mini goals, as to say different steps that we need to achieve in order to meet the goals. And there are also 234 indicators, a way for us to measure progress, because this is really, really important to measure progress and to do this in a systematic way. So if you happen to read the agenda, you will see that it's a blueprint. It represents a visionary plan of action for all countries, not just developing countries, so regardless of their socioeconomic status, to promote peace, prosperity, people and the planet in partnerships. At the core of the 2030 Agenda, like the real aim is to eradicate poverty and achieve sustainable development. So these are some of the key principles of the 2030 Agenda that you will see also in the voluntary local reviews. So at the very core, the motto of the 2030 Agenda is to leave no one behind. What does that mean? It means to think of, being inclusive once we, put together programs, policy, etc. Trying to really have a holistic view on participation, regardless of gender, regardless of age, regardless of, whether we are thinking of local, urban context or more rural context, etc. Really like having everyone on board, particularly keeping in mind that there are some groups that are always left at the margin, and we need to bring them on board. And also the 2030 Agenda really reinforces the need to strengthen the three dimensions of sustainable development, the economic, social, and environmental one. And to finish, we can say that the 2030 Agenda aims to rethink governance, to really rethink the collaboration between institutions and their citizens. To this end, talking about strengthening global governance and reforming global governance, in 2023, the global community got together once again and adopted the Pact for the Future that really covers chapters on sustainable development, reaffirming the need to meet the 2030 Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals, but also covering aspects of international peace and security, digital cooperation, and the needs of future generation, which I'm sure this is really relevant in the context of small island development states as the Maldives as well. So what does it mean to localize the SDGs, and why are we here today talking about, meeting the agenda at the local level? So we mentioned these 169 targets, and if you look at them, then you would realize that around 60% of the targets, they need to be met at the local level if we want to achieve sustainable development. So the discourse around SDG localization, it's really about having the full commitment and involvement of some national and local level in the agenda. So basically, localizing the SDGs means adapting and customizing the SDGs and translating them into local development plans and strategies. So you may wonder, who is actually localizing the SDGs? And basically, it's everyone at the local level, starting from national local governments, so local authorities, which is one of the major stakeholder groups for the 2030 agenda, but also the private sector, civil society, entities like academia, university, etc., and also, of course, local and religious organizations. This is just to name some, but basically everybody has the ability to localize the SDGs. So when we talk about the 2030 agenda, it's really important that we keep on measuring progress because otherwise we really never know how to move forward. And the 2030 agenda, it really puts stress on the importance of systematic, we call it follow-up review, basically systematic review of the progress and also understanding how we can accelerate this progress, where are the bottlenecks, etc. So we can think of SDG follow-up review as a layer architecture. The 2030 agenda talks about 3 layers, but nevertheless, we encourage you to think of it in terms of 4 layers, starting from the local and the subnational level. So those levels are really in touch with the people and with what is happening on the ground. So there are different tools, basically, to monitor progress at the different levels. At the local and subnational level, we have, the voluntary local review, like the process that the city of Male is going through. Sometimes this can happen also at the subnational level, and we call them voluntary subnational reviews. And these processes, they feed into the national level. So bringing the local perspective to the national level. So at the national level, follow-up review takes the form of voluntary national reviews. The Maldives have been quite active, and they already submitted 2 voluntary national reviews in 2017 and 2023. So it's really about accountability and telling the country, but also the global actors where you stand, where the country stands. Then there are also regional opportunities for follow-up review that center on peer learning, where countries, discuss what is happening at the regional level, and at the global level, this is where the national reviews are presented in New York at the high-level political forum that takes place every year in New York around July. And I will go back to this slide when I tell you why we also mentioned the VNR of the Maldives in the context of the VLR for the city of Male. So now you may wonder, okay, so where do we stand? We talk a lot about monitoring. Where does the Maldives stand? So we can say the progress in the Maldives is a mixed bag. This chart is taken from ASCAP SDG Gateway, and I can post the link for further dissemination. And you will see, so basically this green color means that there is progress. The yellow color means that yes, there is progress, but it needs acceleration, so the progress is not enough. And there's also red, and red means that there's a regression. So basically that we are going further away from the targets. And it's really interesting to look at progress from indicator level rather than just from target and indicator level rather than just goal level. Because, for instance, if you were to look at SDG 7, that you will see it's really a mixed bag of green and red, because some of the targets are doing quite well, but some other targets, in this case, they relate to renewable energy, they are regressing. So we really, the role of statistical offices at the different level is really, really key. So, I mentioned that Maldives has been active in doing reporting at the national level. And in 2023, when they submitted their second VNR, their report presented really actionable recommendation and tangible outcomes, tangible analysis of what was going on in the country. Among those, one of the key recommendations, because the report looked into the disparities between rural and urban communities, so really looked into the role of sustainable cities and communities and how enhancing the urban sustainability in the urban context of the city, of the capital city, so the city of Male, could really drive sustainable development across the nation. So the text here is taken from the VNR, and it really reinforces the need to create a sustainable city strategy to reach, to reach a new form of development. So, taken as a result of the VNR, the city of Male has decided, to embark on this VLR. That to this end, we'd also inform the next strategic development plan for the Male City Council. So then you may wonder, so what are the benefits, of SDG localization? There are multiple benefits of SDG localization, and particularly, it's important to enhance governance at the different levels, so really enhance this interface between local, subnational, and regional and national governance. But it's also an opportunity to integrate different aspects of development, particularly for what entails, for instance, climate action, climate change adaptation plan, disaster risk reduction, resilience, etc. Those development strategies, they're really, really key for the country. And it's also the opportunity to strengthen multi-stakeholder collaboration, particularly, having the different stakeholders like local authorities, but also private sector, civil society, etc., on board in the achievement of development. And we'll see how the voluntary local review are really emerging as a tool for SDG localization and also for monitoring progress or lack of progress, of course, at the local and subnational level. So, so what is this voluntary local review? I think you've heard about it already this morning in the presentation. It's basically, it's a process. At the end, the result, it's a report, right? But it's a process to start with, in which local government and of course subnational government as well, they undertake a review of the progress towards the SDGs. The guiding principles for a VLR are online, with the guiding principle of follow-up review for the 2030 agenda. So really having a multi-stakeholder approach, being inclusive, leave no one behind. So really trying to target the groups that are more at risk of being left at the margin, and also thinking of sustainable development in an integrated way. And they're really important tool to fill information gaps, because reporting from capitals sometimes, from the national level, they might be missing, what is happening at the local level. And there's also tools to enhance coordination, as mentioned, and also really enhance stakeholder engagement. And I thank the mayor for the for the interview. They also released a DESCAP some time back. This is why I have his picture in all his slides. Because really the VLR, it's an opportunity. So it's really an opportunity for, to translate local action into global action and to really reflect, listen to what people on the ground have to say. So this is why your contribution to today's consultation will be really, really important. And there's also an opportunity to strengthen the data journey, to really provide a data-driven to enhance this data-driven process that can then be reflected in what's coming next. So basically, action plans at the city level. And it's also it's an opportunity to reflect on on whether the trajectory also and the pathway for SDG localization are the best one or if they can be improved. So I'll stop here, and I think after all of the presentation, there might be opportunities for questions if you were to have any. And yeah, thank you once again for being here, and don't forget that we are all on board with it, so it's really important that you contribute to today and in general to the VLR process. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Our agenda is on the tables. We wanted to minimize the use of paper, and it is as a barcode on the table, so feel free to scan the barcode to see what's up on the agenda. With the virtual presentation, now I would like to call upon all of you guys for a group photo, and which will be followed by tea, and then we will dive into today's agenda. अदे ओपनिंग सेरेमनी में है सब मिनिमुनिंगे तो मैं सब कुड़ा को हम अनऑफिशियल कोल्लाने ए मिकाल इवेंट के ती बेफ्लो मेज़ कैरी का मैं तिब्बा बैगन उनके हियरनु एम बेनु हिफिताने है ओपन डायलॉग गोते कुरियर तानी है मुरिया बेफ्लो में स्टेडो वेला एक कोने का वाह के दक्काला एक कोने का हुलो वेला हलदवा तिंगे तो मैं सब हम टीयंग अरुण दा ओता रोना मुरिया बेफ्लो ना
Devo un'idea?
Ok. देखो मी ती मारू को लाइव कर
Lauta. Quindi nada mi volo spiega. baru baru kota, bintang ini baru.